we're obsessed with talking about the weather, and we certainly get our fair share of rain, hail, sleet and snow. But in the 21st century, just how do we predict tomorrow's weather? How does the Met Office produce that all-important forecast? And what sort of technology do they use? Let's go and find out. This is the Operations Centre. Here, forecasters pore over weather charts and work as a team to produce forecasts for businesses, government agencies and the general public. But where do the charts come from, and how does the whole forecast process start?
We get observations from land, ships, aircraft, also satellites. I mean, so much information from satellites these days. And that all gets put in to our computer model. It means that the computer model knows the starting point in the atmosphere, if you like. So it gives a good indication of where we start from. And then the computer model takes that information and starts churning away, doing all the maths, and it comes out with a forecast.
Once we have all the initial data and we've checked to make sure it's reliable, the next step is to use a large supercomputer to simulate how the atmosphere behaves as it moves forward in time. Inside the supercomputer sits the science of the weather. It's this science that describes how the atmosphere will change in the hours and days ahead. So here we are in this rather noisy room that's home to the supercomputer, and it's this huge number crunching machine that's at the heart of the weather forecast and helps the Met Office deliver forecasts to its customers and colleagues around the world. But how accurate are those forecasts, and can they be improved?
We have seen increase in accuracy over the years. So a 4-day forecast that we produce now is as accurate as a 1-day forecast was back in the 70s. So we've seen the benefits of supercomputers and all the additional information coming in. I mentioned satellites earlier. That is a big part of the information that goes into the models.
My role is around how we understand the uncertainty in the weather forecast, which we do using something called an ensemble forecast. Now, that's where instead of just running the computer model once, we run the computer model lots of times with very, very small changes to the starting conditions. The actual forecast is very sensitive to very small differences in that starting condition. So we make very small changes to run the model lots and lots of times and get 24 or 50 different pictures of the forecast. And from that, we can then understand what's the risk of different things happening.
Improving our understanding of the atmosphere and how it moves and behaves can also lead to improved weather forecasts. This team of scientists from several UK universities is funded by the Natural Environment Research Council to work with the Met Office to try and find ways of pinpointing regions of particularly severe weather within large-scale storms. It's these smaller regions of really disruptive weather which have high impact but are much more difficult to forecast, especially more than 1 day ahead.
So part of this project is to make the association between the wind and the temperature structures and that detail on the weather that people are most interested in.
So weather forecasts rely on a network of global observations and one of the largest supercomputers in the world. But there's always room for improvement, and scientists are working on projects to improve forecast accuracy, and ultimately those forecasts help to keep us all safe and well prepared for whatever the future may hold.